pastures that these cows will rotate through. They'll be here for about 100 days. In any pasture, they will be there no longer than 15 days to 18 days. I'd like you to think about that. Out of 365 days, they're grazed for 15 days out of the year, and that's it. The rest of the time, deer, wildlife have access to it. And so what you're looking at down here is going to be grazed, but it'll, for 340 days of the year, it's going to look like what you're seeing in front of you. Until the cows come in, then it's going to be a little flat, but then it grows fast. Yo. Well, I kind of like to have 50 cows simply because I would much rather have them here for a larger number for a shorter period of time. It's a lot better for grass. Are you ready for a little plant physiology here?
Yes. Yes.
Let me work kind of native here. This is blue bunch wheatgrass, or I mean western wheatgrass. When a plant begins growth from right here, the storage that makes that growth is in the root system down here. Carbohydrates that are stored in the root system and the root crowns. And so in the spring, that plant has to produce leaves, the initial leaves, out of stored carbohydrates. And so we have a term in range management that is called range readiness.
What's that?
We use these real difficult terms. It's ready for grazing after a certain period of time. Well, that's based on carbohydrate reserves. Let me kind of narrow things down here a little bit. Studies have shown with crested wheatgrass and most of the wheatgrasses that once a plant has 4 to 5 leaves, now I've picked a bad example here because there's a bunch of leaves down here, but once a plant has produced 4 or 5 leaves, there's enough photosynthetic surface to conduct photosynthesis, store carbohydrates back in the root system, to replenish what was used to produce those first 5 leaves, or all that stuff. And then you can graze it off because the roots have been reserved, or have been replenished.
And they'll grow new ones.
And they'll grow new ones. And so that's what, every grazing system has to be based on plant physiology. It has to be based on the growth of that thing right there. And so when the first pasture we grazed that we'll walk back through, you'll say, ooh, God, a lot of cow shit here and it looks pretty tough. Well, the fact is there's a lot of soil moisture. Those plants have been grazed. They're going to make regrowth, and they're going to have 340 days of the year to recuperate and restore themselves. That pasture was grazed first this year. It won't be grazed until last next year. So it'll go through a whole growth cycle next year. It'll really go through the rest of this year's growth cycle, plus next spring's growth cycle. The pastures that I worry the most about are mid-season. When you get to the point that there's very little soil moisture, you've got all this growth like this, there's no moisture in the ground, the cows eat it off. What's the plant try to do? Hey, you gotta make new leaves. Yep, no moisture. So I suck all the moisture out of there trying to make new leaves. I get 1 or 2 leaves built and I can't make any more. And so you haven't replaced the carbohydrates that have been used to produce those 2 or 3 leaves. So it isn't quite as simple as the first one grazed as the last one grazed next year. What I try to really pay attention to is those middle season pastures and make sure that I never hit that same middle season pasture middle season the next year. And that's an easy one to think about doing because you start east to west and the next year you go west to east. Well, what happens? What's in the middle gets what's in the middle every year. Yeah. Anyway, basic physiology 101. I got a D in plant physiology, by the way. You got a read when you're here, Dave. Yeah. We could have made it more gradual. We'd have to go down there a quarter mile to get a run at it.
Well, I did a little bit where you cut straight up. I went outwards.
They got through Wyoming.
Go down and kind of get it a little better.
California, baby.
We can go down there, a little better angle down here when it comes across.
Cactus over here.
Oh, yeah. Huh. Pretty flower on it.
Where's that old guy?
Dick, is he dead up there? When I was in high school, we was back into Bighorn. I hated going down.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it was hard on knees. Yeah.
This is nasty. The conversation got going. So actually,
Look this way.
originally it was called Shit Creek because it flowed through coal and it got this sulfur and smelled terrible.
We're supposed to turn around.
When the
Or maybe it's over.
federal map makers came in, said, "What's the name of your creek?" And they said, "Shit Creek." Said, "We can't do that." So they changed it to Nasty Creek. And that's what it is today.
Well, I could have called it detritus.
Yeah.
So, Jim, how many feet, vertical feet, have we hiked today?
Jim?
Jim, the question is, well, how many vertical feet have we come up?
Couple hundred.
Oh, from the house, we're up about another 500. See the teepee down there? Those of you who have not yet been to the teepee, there's the teepee on the ridge.
Look way down here to the left.
And actually, have you all seen the Black Hills?
Black Hills, no.
Black
Yeah.
Hills.
I
Black
was
Hills.
wondering, that was my question. We're way over there to the
What's north?
North?
Back over through the haze. These trees,
the outline of them up there.
the trees are kind of, you want to be looking right through these trees.
I can see them on this side. I like seeing them.
Oh, yeah. They're black, all right.
So what color are they? That's Crow Butte over there.
Devil's Tower?
No, that's Crow Butte. Black Hills are up there. That's Crawford over there and Crow Butte.
Oh yeah, just very hazy.
The kind of black colored thing right on the
We're gonna be thirsty when you get that. Oh, so let's turn around. Can we see it from here? We have to go back there a little bit.
Yeah, let's go back over here. Just along that
Hey, coming back the same way we're going.
Back this way.
Left.
Oh, here it is.
Come on now.
We need you, go.
Come on. Oh, Mary.
Yeah.
Electric to the mountains. Where'd you tell me? You got some snuff? Yeah, there's all kinds of grass stuff.
40 years ago, there was a hell of a fire right there. And look at that rock outcrop right down there. We're talking about 6 inches of soil right above limestone, so a perfect place for mountain mahogany. That spot burned out and there was an opening. And mountain mahogany got established. But what happened is this damn ponderosa pine started to encroach in on it. Phil went through it selectively, took a few trees out of there. I came in and curve cut. Took every pine out of it. Tried to open that up to regenerate that mountain mahogany. Because there's a lot of those plants. If you look down at the bottom of them, there's dead, you see right straight through there is a dead old mountain mahogany plant.
Tell us what mountain mahogany is. What does it
We went
mean?
by one as we came up the hill there, that shrub.
Okay.
Maybe you weren't.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that one, I know.
one, yeah.
Okay, okay.
What's good about it?
It's a very good wildlife browse species. If you're interested in wildlife browse and diversity, it's a great plant. Wildlife, what? Browse for deer. There are some elk that float through here. There's quite an elk herd to the east of the highway. There's some elk the other way. We've seen elk tracks through here. When I was up here thin in the winter, I saw elk tracks all the time up and down this ridge. We never have seen the animal. There are there are some bighorn sheep that were released at Fort Robinson. We've seen one here. The only ones we've seen are rams, which gets you very excited, but the biologists will tell you what you want to get excited about is ewes. Then you got a resident herd. You got a ram, he just travels here looking for the company.
Excited about you.
It never gets that big.
Ewes as opposed to
Yeah.
rams.
So not the mahogany. No antelope here. Antelope
Oh, yeah.
on the grasslands. Antelope are real browsers.
Camera shy.
Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, he does.
This is a soft mixture leaf.
Apparently Bill stayed back there.
Good.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
Because he
We've
got a
tried
very
planting
good signal.
he did.
with his telephone.
Your country.
We lost you there for a while.
That's okay. I
To the civilized world.
had a great signal up on the mountain. Actually, I probably still do. 25% again.
Oh, yeah.
It's only going to get about this tall.
He
It's going to attract every
doesn't even put the camera by his eye.
So you're saying we might not want to?
We can just drop right down off this side and right down anywhere else.
So where's the acre? Is it around
It's over that side. I think it's right over in there somewhere. Well, you know what? I wonder now. Did you say it was near this? Well, then I suspect it's over there.
I broke it.
What is it, wooden?
Yes.
Wow.
Wood. It made of wood. Wood floats.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I'm going to get a good close-up of something really weird looking there.
I noticed there's a circle here. It looks like it's seeded back.
Well, let's see, 8,000 an acre, we can charge him
That's right.
buildable property, road access?
Well, that's 12,000 for it.
We'll take that one.
It's like an old tanker truck or something over there. I don't think that belongs here.
Sand pit. You remember the sand pit? They took a lot of sand out of the top of it. That's why it's rough in here. Frank sold a lot of dirt off of here for building that highway over there. And that's why it's kind of leveled off up here and it's kind of, you know, you can tell it's been moved around up in there.
Hey, Jimbo. See, it's just grown back in the last 20, 30, 40 years, but this was the same.
Probably good to be standing here in a lightning storm surrounded by a bunch of
Iron, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's a really good
sand
idea.
Actually,
Maybe we
I
should
think
go on
really an
back.
ideal place.
Shouldn't we be,
I think the best thing to do
Going
is to
onto
go
the
and stand
house.
right next to a tree and have your hand on one of these old,
Iron thing.
So we should drop over the side of the hill, I guess.
yeah. Maybe we shouldn't all stand up in this circle of iron trees.
How far is the house from here? Is it pretty close?
Right over this way, short way here.
Okay, maybe we should just kind of go there. We can always come back tomorrow and see this.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to rust or anything.